You're welcome to the Patriotic channel, and this is where we bring you all the current affairs, interviews, updates, and all that you need to know, as well as what is happening in the political space. I'm privileged to be here with a very astute person, someone who has distinguished himself in public office, and in the just ended administration, he was the Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service. Doc, welcome.
Thank you
to the
so
Patriotic
much.
Channel.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, and I'm honored to be with you this morning.
The pleasure is really ours.
Yes.
So the Patriotic Channel actually is active on YouTube, so you can go subscribe and share. Put your comments there, what you think as well. Now, a lot of things are happening in Ghana. One of them, soul sourcing. Now, we remember vividly that the then opposition, now in government, was very vocal as far as soul sourcing was concerned. They said it was unethical, it was illegal, they said all sorts of things. Today, it has come to light that not only has there been conflict of interest, because we've had persons in government vying for contracts, getting those contracts, but it has actually been under soul sourcing, and some justifications have been attempted to be made. I want to pick your initial thoughts on that.
Well, thank you. It is quite unfortunate when you try to get into office through propaganda, because obviously soul sourcing in Ghana in terms of our procurement is not illegal.
Right.
It is one of the processes for procuring the services of a contractor. Sole sourcing, limited tendering, as well as open national tender. And so there is nothing wrong with sole sourcing. That's to begin with.
Right.
And if there is nothing wrong with no sole sourcing, then the erstwhile His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government did nothing wrong. But unfortunately, we had colleagues on the other side who were so eager to govern that they had demonized, bastardized the process of sole sourcing. And unfortunately, they come into office, and then it's almost like karma, right? They do worse. And in 1 year, the amount of contracts that they have sole sourced, the number of contracts in the roads ministry alone, over 45% of their contracts just for 2025 were sole sourced. And that is the unfortunate thing of trying to use propaganda rather than communicating the truth to the Ghanaian people.
If I get you, the current administration is actually abusing the soul sourcing model.
Well, I guess you can call it abuse, especially based on how they campaigned.
Right.
Right? If you campaign to get rid of what you described as illegal, as canker, as something that was not right, and then you come and then you perpetuate it even worse, then obviously it is an abuse of of the trust of the Ghanaian people, because the Ghanaian people elected you based on certain promises and certain guarantees that you gave the Ghanaian people around what you were going to do.
Right. And so to set this straight,
yes,
the previous administration did no wrong.
Did no wrong. It is part of the
soul sourcing was concerned.
Soul sourcing is a legal part of our procurement laws in Ghana.
Right. I also wanted to ask you what you make of a deputy chief of staff vying for a contract in under an agency which is also part of government through soul sourcing.
Well, I think that the main thing is, one, if a company is going to vie for a contract and there is a conflict of interest, the first thing is probably the company should not vie for that contract if there is a conflict of interest. Right. But even if there is a conflict of interest, if it is clearly declared that, okay, this is who we are, this is the potential conflict of interest, then the agency that is evaluating the tender can make a decision based on the declarations. Right? So there isn't anything wrong with anybody being a director of any company. But when the company is making a decision to be on, to tender, the company just needs to clearly declare. But when that company is then asked to sole source, then of course that becomes even a bit more worrisome, because then there is no opportunity for competitive
So you think
tendering.
that the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government has been vindicated?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, right? If you are saying that someone was doing something wrong and then you come to do worse, then obviously, and especially your argument is that there is nothing wrong with sole sourcing, then why were you saying that sole sourcing was wrong when you were in opposition?
Okay.
So there is a total vindication of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's administration.
Thank you for that. The next thing I want to talk to you about has got to do with cocoa. Yes, you know how we've politicized cocoa, the cocoa sector in our country, in Ghana, and a lot of promises were made. Now there's a viral video of a farmer saying, Odeyeka, Mama Odeyeka. And essentially, the prices that were promised has not been met. There's been a reduction. There's been fears of what will become of the sector going forward. What do you make of that?
Well, cocoa is a very, very important part of the Ghanaian economy. As a matter of fact, personally, my grandfather, grandmother, and my grand auntie were cocoa farmers before they left us in this world. My uncle, my mother's younger brother, is a cocoa farmer. And I come from a constituency that has a very large cocoa farming community. So cocoa definitely is a big part, which is a Sunafo North, by the way. Now, in our Ghana that we have been in, there has never been a situation where the prices of cocoa has been reduced by government. As a matter of fact, there has been about 2 or 3 instances on the international market where the price of cocoa has not met government projections. But government made every effort in those previous administrations to actually ensure that that hit does not affect the cocoa farmer. Because when you have a cocoa farmer, they work with their hands, they work very, very hard. You promise them a price. You have a responsibility to give them that price because they also plan based on those things. So you cannot tell a cocoa farmer that, not one, when you come, you would give them about 6,000 Ghana cedis.
That didn't materialize.
It didn't materialize. You come to meet 3,100 cedis per bag. It is moved to 3,600 cedis per bag. Then in the middle of the season, after missing 3 months of payments, you announce to the cocoa farmer that you are going to reduce their price from 3,600 to about 2,500 and some change. And that is quite unfortunate because that cocoa farmer has planned for their child's education, they've planned for their family, they've planned for everything else. And all of a sudden, after 3 months of not paying them, which is also unprecedented, you then tell that farmer that in fact, you are going to reduce their price. It is a betrayal again of the farmer. It is a betrayal of your promises, and it is daylight robbery.
Right. So others have said that there should be a reshuffle at the helm of affairs at Cocoa Board because obviously we're going to a World Cup, and you have the head of Cocoa Board be the chair of the Black Stars Committee. Do you think there's some divided attention there?
Well, obviously, I think that what is happening at Cocoa Board, what is happening in Ghana generally, it's a reflection of the president's ability to govern.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, Ghanaians gave a mandate to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to govern. He then decides to put together an administration and a team. And so if this is happening in any of his agencies, ministries, and as a president, he has not taken action or corrective action, then of course it's a betrayal of his ability to govern. So I am not going to tell the president to do a reshuffle. But if the president thinks what is happening is worth keeping all the people there, he is the president. He was elected to do so. And Ghanaians will make a decision based on that.
All right. Let's talk about you. Former Deputy Director General, Ghana Education Service.
Yes.
How would you describe your time there?
Oh, we had a very fantastic time. You know, there were a lot of key things that we were able to do for the Ghanaian people. When His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was elected, one of the things that he had promised Ghanaians, especially around development, was education and free education in senior high school, but also the reform of education in general. I was fortunate enough that from the first term of his administration, when he appointed me, I joined the reform agenda, from the implementation of free SHS, introduction of new curriculum, the reforms that happened within the entire Ministry of Education, the establishment of the Ghana TVET service, the establishment of the CTVET, which is the Commission for Tertiary and Commission for Technical and Vocational Education. Right. So there were lots of reforms that were done, but what I am proud about is the work we did in the Ghana Education Service. We were able to, by the end of President Akufo-Addo's second administration, we were able to ensure that some close to 4 or 5 million children had access to education. That was also able to happen because of the efforts that we made around the introduction of the double track. I am the chief architect of the double track, and I know what it did for the Ghanaian children.
Double track?
Yes.
That was controversial.
It was controversial because...
You think it was the best thing to happen to the country at the time?
It was the best thing to happen to the country, and it is still the best thing happening to the country. Had it not been for double track, for the 7 years that double track was introduced under the President Akufo-Addo's administration, some additional 1,274,000 students had access to education. So that would have been 1.27 million children who would not have had access to senior high school education had it not been for double track.
Right.
When this current administration said they were going to cancel double track, they came into office and their own Director General had to come on television to say that, in fact, we cannot cancel double track as is, which means they know what it is doing in terms of the good it is doing for the Ghanaian people, and everything else, you know. So there is a lot of good that came out of double track in terms of access to education, and all of the noise people make, the data also shows that they did not negatively impact. It did not negatively impact quality education.
Right. Okay, so what next for you?
Well, after 7 years at the Ghana Education Service, currently I have a consulting firm, the Oppenton Group.
Right.
We do educational consulting both in country and internationally. We have clients here in the UK, we have clients in East Africa, as well as in our own area in West Africa and in Ghana. In terms of my next major thing, I come from Asonafo North,
right.
Which is Goso. It's my hometown. My mother is actually the Jasihema of Goso.
Oh, great. That's Ahafo.
Ahafo, yes. Okay. And of course, I have been very involved in our party there. Everybody in the region knows that I'm a regional patron for the New Patriotic Party, and I have done a lot of work in the constituency. It is a constituency that needs new, fresh, dynamic leadership. And I am very interested in serving the people after the experiences that I've gotten from the national level, experiences that I've gotten internationally. I want to be able to serve my people. So as a member of the New Patriotic Party, when my party opens a nomination, I intend to put my hat in the ring. Not just put my hat in the ring, but I intend to not only become the next parliamentary candidate, but the next member of parliament for Asonafo North.
Right, so you're the next big thing to happen to the constituency. I've been having a conversation with Dr. KWABENA BEMPAH TANDOH, former Deputy Director General, Ghana Education Service. Grateful for your time, bro.
Thank you. Thank you
very much.